the type of folding bike it is with this vertical makes it easy to or comfortable to go through things like that. 31. Because I really wouldn't buy it.
What's up, y'all? So we received what might be the most powerful folding bike that I've ever reviewed on this channel. I say that because this bike potentially comes with two motors. Each motor is 1,000 watt with a 1,600 watt peak, and it also comes with two batteries. You have a couple of options. You can get a 60 amp hour, 48 volt 60 amp hour, or a 48 volt 40 amp hour. Look like we got the 48 volt 40 amp hour in the back of the bike. This bike is advertised to go 31 to 34 miles per hour. We're going to test that out. I'm not sure of the range of this bike. I had a hard time finding it on the website, so we're going to test out the range. This bike weighs 108 pounds. Maximum weight of the rider is 400 pounds. The name of this bike is the WALLKE H9 AWD. To purchase this e-bike, feel free to use my link and my code in the description below to get a discount. Also, I am doing an e-bike giveaway. If you want to be included in this giveaway, you have to be subscribed to the channel and comment below on what type of e-bike you would like. So what we're going to do is we're going to unbox this, go through all of the features, again test out the speed, range, all that cool stuff. And then because this bike does fold, even though it has a large battery, we're going to fold it up, put it in my car, go to like a more urban area.
You're going to have two batteries and fold.
How's it going to have two batteries? I have no idea. They might have packed this a little too well. Like, ain't no way anybody... That was in the box too. What is that? All right, we got a rear view mirror, a long one at that. I wonder how we install that on the bike. And does that mean you have to kind of look up at the mirror? All right, see what that is. Is that a bike bag that you put on the...
It's like a bike bag.
Oh, nice. A bike bag that you put on your rear rack. Instructions seem pretty clear. I always like it when they include pictures. Looks like it does go through your advanced settings, which is good. We normally don't get that on an e-bike. I'm not seeing any instructions on how to install the battery that goes in the body of the bike. Go ahead and see what's in these other box. Our charger. I'm pretty sure that's to charge our 40 amp hour battery. This is what the bike looks like without the wrapping. It doesn't look like anything was damaged, and look like we got a lot of like goodies like we talked about earlier, right? We will have to install our VPOS wheel on. Never had a tire from VPOS before. It does seem pretty grippy though, but this front wheel has a motor on it. We have a dual motor e-bike that folds for the first time ever. We're also going to have to install the handlebar, which is already attached via wire, and we're going to attempt to put this front battery in the bike. Hopefully you can just slide it in and we don't have to like actually install all this stuff. We got to install our headlight, our front fender. We're going to have to put our axle in here, right? And then after we put the axle in here, we put the wheel in here. Then we also have to tighten up this hexagon wrench on the front here. So they definitely should have sent two wrenches, because you're going to have to hold one wrench on this side in order to unscrew on the other side. But you know, we're trying to make do. I spoke too soon. Now that we're about to take these washers off of this front axle here. As we take these washers off of this front axle, so this front axle does not come off of this wheel. So what that means is here, we're going to have to unscrew this. We're going to have to unscrew this and this in order to get the front axle to go in that way. Alright, so on both sides of the axle we have two different types of washers, right? One washer has this hook on it. We're going to put the other washer that does not have a hook on the axle. The one on that side. Oh, I spoke too soon. They did give us another wrench. It does look like we're going to have to flip this bike upside down in order to put the front wheel on, because not only is there a hexagon screw in the front here, there's also one under here that we're going to have to unscrew. So we're going to go ahead and put the handlebar on, put the seat on, that way we can turn this bike upside down. Good thing is the handlebar is already installed, at least this part of the handlebar is already installed. So we have a bit of a dilemma here. In order to put our front axle, we have to undo one of these, right? This screw won't come out. This screw won't turn. We can't find a hexagon wrench that can turn this screw up here, and we don't want to strip it. So in order to get this screw loose, we had to use a wrench and put it around the screw to turn it, to get it started. Now we can use the hexagon wrench to get this screw loose. As we put our front wheel on with the motor in it, we got to make sure the wire is facing that way. More than likely this is like a bad screw, so we're probably going to have to replace this with a better hexagon screw. But we were able to unscrew this enough to where this fell out here. So now we can go, I guess we can go ahead and put that back in there, put our front axle on. Now I decided to connect this front motor on this wheel this way because I didn't want it to go this way and be rubbing up against this brake, you know what I'm saying? And I have some room here, so I figured this is the best way to do it. So we're going to go ahead and install the second battery that came with this bike that goes in the body of the bike here. So I think we're going to unscrew this, and then we're going to put this here eventually, right? This here. But we have to install this in there first. So I think how this works, you see two of these ends look the same. I think that's because one of these ends is going to connect to this, so that the battery in the body of our bike, we can use it here. The second end here is going to go somewhere in here, so that way we can use the removable, that way we can use the larger battery in the back of the bike. That's where this one is going to go, and then I think this is going to go also in another slot in here. So let's go ahead and get this unscrewed so we can start.
No.
Looks like I did not need to disconnect the other side of this black and red cord that has an end like this, and this here that's coming out the inside the bike. I didn't need to disconnect this, so I'm gonna connect that back. Whew.
What was that?
I definitely should not have unplugged this one. All right, got it back in there, thank God. Now I'm gonna go ahead and try to put this control box back in there. Okay, and I'm gonna try to put this up here. And I want this still out because this is what's going to be used to connect to the port that's on the battery that's going to go on the body here. .48 volt, 22 amp hour battery. We're going to go ahead and put this in the body, and this battery did come with a set of keys. After I get it in there, I got to take this key, put it in on this side, turn it. So now this thing at the bottom of the battery catches. Hey, hold on. Hey, okay, it worked. So we got this bike put together. It took us about an hour and a half, mainly because of the motor and the front wheel and the battery in the body. This is a pretty long e-bike for a folding bike. It's about 6 feet 3 inches from wheel to wheel. The seat at its lowest point from the floor is actually pretty high. It's about 2 feet 11 inches. The handlebar, which is adjustable, but where we have it at its lowest point is 3 feet 11 inches from the floor. Now we did go on a small bike ride. We just couldn't help ourselves, but we have not tested out these Velocity or V-Post tires off-road just yet. But Curious on how they're going to perform because they are pretty grippy. Love the design of this bike for a folding bike. I love the color that I chose. I think it's very sleek looking folding bike. I love that the rear rack is built into the body of the bike here, but I think it's a good looking folding bike. Let me know what y'all think. Look at that suspension. And I've had this suspension on a few cargo bikes before with the two suspensions in the back. I think it's been hit or miss, but we'll see. Give y'all a look at this rear suspension. We also have suspension in the front fork, and it looks like you can adjust the compression of that suspension. So let's say you're on a flat surface and you want to lock out your suspension, you can do that. You want to add more suspension, then you turn it this way. Give y'all a look at this front suspension. Have a look at our rear and front hydraulic brakes from Logan. Love that the rear rack is built into the bike here. And it came with a pretty comfortable seat on that rear rack. So, alright. This ergonomic bike seat, which seems pretty comfortable, has a lever on the back of it that you can use to lever right here. Fold up, and then you can quickly get to your battery. To take the battery out, you will turn the key this way till you see this go in. Then you can take this huge battery out. To turn your bike on, you do have to turn this way. So that means you have to keep this key in the battery while you're riding your e-bike. Again, this handlebar is adjustable. So there's a clamp here. You would undo that clamp. And then you can adjust the height of this handlebar. So we're not going to fold our e-bike. So I'm going to put that down. Put this clamp on. And this is my favorite folding technology on these e-bikes with this steel clamp here. So to fold my handlebar, I'm going to push that up like that. That sends this metal piece out, and now I can fold my handlebar. Some folding clamps are plastic, and so sometimes that plastic will bend a little bit, and then that'll make your handlebar shake a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I guess you would fold it this way. So I've turned the bike around. Now I'm going to go ahead and fold the body. I'm going to push this button up. That's going to help me undo that clamp there. Then I'm going to fold the body of my bike, and this is what the bike looks like when it's folded. Handlebar is just a little wide for a folding bike. It's about 2 feet 3 inches wide. Looks like we have your standard Shimano 7-gear shifter. You have these on your handlebar that you use to replace your hydraulic brake fluid. I think the plastic ones are just too easy to break. We're now going to go ahead and turn this bike on. Press and hold the power button. Nice colorful display. Hard rubbery grip here on your handlebar, and this entire handlebar is your throttle, which I'm not a fan of. I like the half twist throttle better because what if you're pedaling, you know, and you kind of shift your hand a little bit when you pedal, it's going to engage your throttle. Looks like we have a horn. That's pretty loud. Looks like under your panel you have a USB charger that you can use to charge your phone. If I click this button, that turns my beefy but standard headlight on and my rear light on. And that rear light is also a brake light. If you press and hold the I button on your panel, that will help you switch from one motor to another. So right now you see my rear motor is what I'm using. If I press and hold the I button, that now switches to my front motor here. If I press and hold the I button again, now I'm using both motors. Now if I quickly click the I button, I will get more information on this display. Right now you see my trip mileage there. Click the I button. That goes to my odometer, my maximum speed, average speed. While we're looking at this display, it looks like we do have our battery life at the top here. Our speed calculator, pretty sure you can change that from miles per hour to kilometers. And our pedal assist mode. This bike does have a few advanced settings. I'm going to go through a few of them. To go into your advanced settings, you're going to press and hold the plus and the minus button. To go from one setting to the next, you're going to press the plus and the minus button. If you want to change a setting, then you quickly click the I button, and then you can change that setting. P01 is how do we want to calculate our speed. Do we want to do miles per hour or kilometers? We're going to keep it at miles per hour. This is how many pedal assist modes do we want. By default we have 5. If I click the I button, look at all the options. 1 through 5, 1 through 7. We're going to keep it at 0 through 5. At this point, if you quickly click the I button again, you can adjust how much power you get in each pedal assist mode. I click the I button, I can navigate through all of my different pedal assist modes, and I can change that last number. So let's say if I want to change that from 81% to 82% power in mode 4, I could. I'm going to keep that at 81. P05 is our limit speed. So I'm going to click the I button here. Make sure we're going as fast as we can. Looks like it's 32 miles per hour. This is my pedal assist sensitivity magnets. I'm thinking this means your pedal assist sensitivity, I think. And looks like it's already up to a 12. Usually that means the higher you go, the least sensitive it is. So I think right now it's set to the least sensitive. We're going to test it out when we bike ride. P07 is if you want to add a password to this bike. P08 is how long will the bike be idle for before it automatically turns off. So I'm going to make that 10 minutes instead of 5.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
So although this is a pretty long folding bike, it was pretty easy to transport, believe it or not. Probably because of the type of folding bike it is with this vertical swivel handlebar. Makes it very easy to fold up and put into it. Like we're in a mid-sized car, so it was easy enough to fold it up and put it in there. I do think this is a great e-bike for more urban areas because you can go from the sidewalk to the streets pretty effortlessly, because although the bike is long, it's very narrow, very skinny. You can fit through some pretty tight corners, and again, you can go from the street to the sidewalk pretty easily. Be careful of this vertical swivel handlebar if you are in the streets, because it can spin out on you, you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be in the streets a whole lot with this bike because of this handlebar, but navigating from the street back to the sidewalk in an urban area, absolutely. Plus, the full suspension makes it easy to or comfortable to go through things like that without feeling a whole lot of discomfort. So yeah, I think this is a perfect bike for urban areas. Again, you would have to account for the really heavy battery.
So WALLKE H9, what are your thoughts?
It was an okay drive. It was a little wobbly going up the hill. Definitely, it kind of gave me a little shake.
It felt a little shaky.
Yeah, turns are okay. They're pretty light. It didn't feel too rough.
What did you think of the suspension?
It's a little weak. It's a little weak. It's alright. It's alright.
Okay, what about the speed though?
The speed is good though. It goes really fast. It goes really fast.
Okay, because you kind of a speed demon,
yeah,
right?
I like the speed on this one.
Okay. Did you have any issues getting on and off the bike?
Not too bad. The seat is a little higher.
A little high. Okay, and what's your height?
I'm 5'7".
5'7". So what would you give this bike on a scale from 1 to 10?
I would give it a 7.
7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're now gonna try out these Velocity V-Post tires. I'm gonna go through some gravel, test out the grip, test out the durability. I let's go up a gear. All right, not bad. Not a whole lot of slipping. All right, I would say better than average. Not bad at all. Okay. So although the tires seem grippy enough, and although I have a nice wide handlebar for a folding bike, I would still never advise to do a whole lot of leaning on e-bikes that has this like vertical swivel handlebar, because you know you have to keep both hands on the handlebar or this handlebar will spin out on you, you know what I mean? So we're now about to go off-road, test out the tires, test out the suspensions, and the grass has not been treated, so we're really going to get a test today, you know what I'm saying? Alright. So far, definitely not in my top 8, but let's keep going. Alright, suspension is okay. I would say the suspension is equally distributed, it seems like, from the front suspension and the back suspension. Maybe that's because I can open up my front suspension more. But the suspension is just okay. Like, it's not bad, it's not the worst suspension I've had, but far from the best. But I guess it does its job. Yeah, I guess it does its job. It's, so I would say maybe this is not like a real off-road type bike. I think it's, you know, more of a cargo, but suspension is okay. I'll say on a scale from 1 to 10, I get a suspension like a 7. So I haven't adjusted any of the PAS settings. So I will say, out of the box, mode 1 and 2, the pedal assist is pretty perfect. Mode 1 and 2. It looks like mode 1 takes me up to almost 10 miles per hour. But yeah, I don't feel like it sends me flying. I feel like my pedal is still being considered in mode 1 and 2. So that's great, right? But mode 3 and up, way too much pedal assist. Switched it to mode 3, watch this. Okay, the pedal assist kicks in right away, which is good. But immediately, I'm ghost pedaling. And this is on single motor. I'm ghost pedaling, right? Like, I'm barely pedaling here and it's sending me. So to me, that's the one thing I don't like. Great brakes though, goodness. So I changed my PAS sensitivity from a 12 to a 5. See if that helps. Now I'm still ghost pedaling. See, mode 3. Yeah, I'm still ghost pedaling. Probably more than before, so yeah, I'm ghost pedaling here. So I guess PAS sensitivity of a 12 means the least sensitive. I adjusted the sensitivity back to a 12. Now I'm 5'11", 6 feet with shoes on. One thing I do like about this vertical swivel handlebar, especially on folding bikes, is it can accommodate different heights of riders. But not only does it accommodate different heights of riders, it also accommodates different riding postures. Like, I have the handlebar up pretty high here, and so that gives me the ability to use this e-bike in more of like a commuter style posture with my back straight. And because the bike has 2 batteries, it's pretty stable. Like, it's pretty stable. Now, it's not so stable where I feel like I can ride without my hands on the handlebar, which I usually can't with folding bikes, but it's stable enough, you know what I mean? So we're not gonna test out the maximum speed, pedal assist, single motor. And again, I can't really keep up with the motor because it just sends me, you know what I mean? But I'll try. I'm probably gonna be ghost pedaling for most of it, but. All right, 24. Got to 24 pretty gradually in single motor. 26. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. It's crazy I can go this fast while ghost pedaling. So it looks like 31 miles per hour. We're now gonna try max speed dual motor. Whoa! It sent me immediately, you know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. Dual motor. Goodness, this is fast. Yeah, that's pretty fast. It got to 30 pretty quickly. All right, 30, 31. All right, 31. So yeah, I feel that limit again. So we're now gonna go max speed, throttle only, single motor. Let's see how fast we go here. We got up to 23, kind of gradually. Okay, 26, 27. 28, gradual, 29, 30, 31. Okay, 31. We're not gonna try max speed, dual motor. It takes off like a rocket. I got to 25 miles per hour a lot quicker than I did in single motor. 32. All right, 31. We're not gonna go max speed, throttle only, dual motor, but up a hill. And this is a pretty steep hill. I would say it's like a 35, 40 degree hill, and it has a turn. So we're gonna see how much speed we lose, dual motor, throttle only going up this hill. All right, we're about to go into the hill now at 29 miles per hour. 30. 28. 27. 26. 24. 22. All right, so it looks like I lost about 8 miles going up a hill.
WALKE H9 AWD. I think this is a decent bike for the price. What I like the most about this bike is the battery life. So I went on a 22-mile bike ride. I spent 1 mile going max speed, pedal assist, dual motor. Another mile going max speed, throttle only, dual motor. I spent 10 miles going max speed, pedal assist. And then I spent the rest of the 10 miles going like mode 4, mode 3, pedal assist. In that 22 miles, I still had all of my battery bars, right? So I continued to try to push the battery, and I went from city to city because we had to go out that night without charging the bike. I went throttle only, 13 miles to our destination, and then I went max speed, pedal assist on the way back from our destination. And then that did take 3 out of the 5 battery bars away. But I was able to make it to a whole nother city and back. I also like the speed. I was quickly able to get up to 31 miles per hour. I was able to fold this bike up and put it in my mid-size car. We did have to take the battery out in order to pick it up and put it in the car. Although you can adjust the pedal assist sensitivity, I think even when this bike is on the least sensitive setting, it gives you way too much pedal assist in mode 4 and 5 especially. So all in all, decent bike. I say on a scale from 1 to 10, I give this bike an 8. Comment below what you'll give this bike on a scale from 1 to 10. Any other e-bike you want me to review, also comment below. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.